Live. You are live. Okay. I'm live. Southmont Borough Council meeting. Coming up right now. Well, coming up in 10 minutes. It's freezing cold.
Oh, don't get me wrong, I didn't put the whole thing on there, I just was like, every once in a while, I didn't have to shoot the right way, you know what I mean? And the guy actually came by and just, wiped it all out afterwards.
Yeah, that's usually like overlooked, the people that actually just plow out to the street, blow it out to the street.
Yeah.
There's no way you're gonna
I
go.
mean, sometimes when you're plowing or whatever, you're gonna get it out onto the streets and push it back.
And then you're supposed to head it which way, the down direction, or the other direction?
See, otherwise we'll just fly it right on shut again.
Yeah, yeah.
Commission meeting next.
The meeting is next, 5 o'clock.
Hey, John.
Hi, Sherry. How are you?
Good, how about you?
Freezing.
Yes, you did.
It's not warm.
You're going to me with a hoodie on. Did you wear the coat?
Yeah, it's good, hoodie.
Yeah. It'll be worse tonight, I think they say. And then we're gonna warm up. When it hits 20, we're gonna feel like spring.
This last some days of 35.
Yep.
Highs. I'm looking forward to this.
Car wash time.
It's about 6 inches of ice that needs to melt off my roof.
And I hate to think what's on top of all this, but I really do. That's a Tuesday. Hello, Eric.
Hello.
How's Eric today? Good.
How are you?
Does Sam have enough help with the streets plowing and everything, Amanda?
Does he have what?
Enough help?
I mean, we can always use another hand or two, but they're managing with what they have.
How many plow? 3?
3. The part-time is slowly getting there. He's only 19, so he hasn't even been driving a regular vehicle too long.
Oh. Okay. That's a little scary.
He's getting there. It's just the storm's been hitting so much, they don't have a lot of time to get him to practice,
Oh,
so,
we'll be a lot of practice now.
yeah.
This is when equipment breaks too, is how, when it's this cold. This is when stuff just
Yeah.
breaks, you know?
It's always the worst time.
Uh-huh.
Well, it was light and fluffy when it came down.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful.
Man,
Oh, nice little parks. It's fluffy and light,
yeah.
not wet and heavy.
My luggage goes on lots and he's so good. He just does such a great job. Hello. Hi, Bob. How are you?
What's that? What time is it?
What's that?
Now we know how people.
Yeah. Well, you know what, we're not too much different, 'cause I got a couple of relatives who live up in Minnesota, and
Okay.
they're about the same as we are, a little colder. But they're ready to work there. Hi, Eugene.
Everybody. Happy New Year.
I'm good, how about you?
Eric, I have a question for you on this. Every time I read the instructions on this, I get confused.
What's it confused?
So on the, where it says public office of public employment, of course, it's this, right? So if you're on the authority, would that go on there?
Yeah.
But it says if you're there only as an advisory kind of person, you don't need to list it.
Yeah, but you're on the board. You're on the board. I
understand
always
that.
put, yeah, I used to put mine in.
I know, but it doesn't seem as though you need to.
But you're a voting member of the board.
Yeah.
So that isn't advisory at that point.
Okay. Alright. Okay, I have another sheet then.
I just write it in like there's a space in between.
Yeah.
It should fit on there.
Right.
Nobody ever looks at their sheets anyway. Jeans. Yeah, they just found them in a drawer.
Yeah.
They just found them in a drawer. And I always figure the more information, the better. Give it to them all.
I talked to, that's what I had it marked written down.
We just had a letter for like, we don't have to go to the city.
Okay. All right. I'll set up.
Oh, you guys
Yeah, we have another quarterly one here.
Okay.
We're so much smaller.
I like the tree.
Maybe right
I'm
after.
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was, he gave us his letter quarterly.
And he said something about sidewalks.
Yeah, that sidewalk.
That's
all.
Yeah.
Get ready for the spring.
Right, right. Then I can participate in meetings today. Right, yeah. So I got a question for you.
But you still have to take that.
So I think I read last night, you have three arrangements. Right. Now, there's nobody else left.
The territory and what goes crazy.
No family. No family.
You know, we're just one square mile.
She signed all her own documents, so she was gonna be laid out, but there's not enough funds in there to do all
So,
that.
you know.
So she did sign a cremation release herself. Would that stand up? If anybody ever came back and said, oh, is that the other thing? Well, she,
She signed it, that's her wishes.
right.
A lot of money. I know, a lot of salt, a lot of hay, a lot of salt.
Maybe you're on the line,
And
maybe
read the
nobody else
reports.
knows.
It's
Exactly.
like a month and a half. I called them in.
I thought you were saying, how do I do?
She's like, it's a month and a half.
No, that's all, it said aside.
It says Saturday.
You know, I had one, same situation, the guy, he signed the paper, his parents, were beneficiaries, and they died. Insurance company got paid, they wanted me to go to the executive.
Yeah, we spent a lot of money on this. It's a month and a half.
Right. And I said, it's gonna cost me more money to do all
Yeah,
that.
I know, you know, every year we do the budget, and every year it's we need salt, we need no. We held salt for like 3 past 3 years, we did. Sooner or later. Yeah, we're making up for the past 3 years.
Yeah,
Yeah, it became.
it gets messy.
I mean, you can petition several small, you probably can petition several small cities.
Yeah.
You still have a heritage.
Right.
Yeah, but you know what, I'm seeing, when we pull our reports for our
He
owners,
was in a nursing.
you know what they're spending more money on, the natural gas, water and sewer. People's water and sewer bills are now higher than their natural gas.
One of my clients, already.
I just pulled a report on one of our apartment buildings in Southmont today, and the water and sewer was like $6,000 last year, and the natural gas was $4,000. Yeah.
And of course, it's a liability.
cost of living. This thing that happens now. Going down. The one that she sent back. Yes, sir. Paychecks. Paychecks. Yes, they're important. The one in there.
Well, the ones that are assumed that. Any of them like the issues on visas and some other issues. Like maintenance of property. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what she said, that they're closing that one. These are just.
Yeah. No refrigerator involved for water. I'm just filling my thing. I know, walking from there, but I can jump to this weather. Yeah.
So I just put Southmont. Governmental bodies in there. Occupation.
That's like,
Commercial.
yeah.
This is your real estate.
Do we need to?
Prime property. Prime property. Is that including the mortgage?
Yeah.
Mortgage? It doesn't
Yeah,
say,
anything-
it says here, don't, you know, make it a mortgage actually, on the property.
Okay, but anything.
Or not.
I was right. She said she has them. Yeah.
Problem solved.
Problem solved.
Meeting to order, stand for the pledge.
See where that goes.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Anthony Piper,
Here.
Doug Barry,
Here.
Richard Burkert, not here, Herbie Wong,
Here.
Eugene Coachella,
Here.
Matt McVicker,
Here.
Bob Morgan,
Here.
Jerry Spiker. Here.
Just a reminder to please mute your devices. Public comment, there's a 5-minute time limit. Please clearly state your name and where you reside.
Hi, everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody. Happy, well, I wasn't very happy about Inauguration Day, but I did get one thing, I did catch one thing from the speech that the First Amendment is supposedly back in the country. I guess that's the only redeeming thing that I said. But what I wanted to speak on today was, I see that there's a discussion decision in the executive session about the request that my dad made. My dad's not feeling well today. He wanted to be here, and he's just not feeling good. His health is not good. So I would ask you guys, if you don't mind, to table that until he can show up next month, if that would be all right with you guys. And that's all I had to say today. Thanks.
Thanks, Doug. Robert Forsey, 174 Floyd Street. Just wanted to touch base. Obviously, there's a line item in item number 19 that's in regards to the discussion we had last time I was here. For any of you who may have not been able to make it, that was in regards to the sewer laterals under our house. We are the benefactor or beneficiary, I guess, of the highest estimate that they've ever had. doing these at 32.5. That's if they don't hit the sewer laterals, which would increase it by another $20,000. I did reach out because I am not trying to make this as hard as possible on anybody, but I did reach out to Laurel Management because through the Johnstown Redevelopment Association, we had 5 plumbers that came out to give us estimates. Only one would give us an estimate. So I tried to get another estimate since our last meeting here, and I reached out to Laurel Management. They don't want anything to do with the project. They literally said that it's with the sewer laterals, or I'm sorry, with the radiant heat in the floor and stuff like that, that they're, concerned about that stuff. I talked to Kyle Kunkel, who is one of the owners of that corporation, and I'm asking him for a letter that states that, or at least gives me a number that would tell you how much it would be, but he said he would be north of $32,000. So I'm just trying to get something so that you guys can see that I'm trying to do the best I can to address this situation, and in my opinion, it's just exorbitantly expensive. So I'm looking forward to today. That was really all I wanted to add for today, is that I haven't stopped. I'm trying to find a solution that works for everybody. I just don't think that the one I got so far works for me financially. So,
Sir, have you reached out to, like Steve Myers Plumbing?
I believe that he was one of the vendors that the Johnstown Redevelopment Authority had come over to the house, and he wouldn't touch it.
Our church over in Waller Grove, we experienced the same thing. We have all our lines, and he really did us a big thing. It was less than $10,000. So it might be good to go after this kid.
Yeah, if at the end of this, if you guys don't give me the exemption at the end of the day, I would love to talk to him. If it was $10,000, I wouldn't be here. It's one of those situations. I think it's more in line. And for those of you who don't know, the average amount is $5,000.
I would reach out to him again and see if he can respond this time. If not, then no. I know they're busy, but he did us a great job. That place was clean as a pin when he left.
Yeah.
We had all the work done that we needed. It cost us about $98,000, $99,000.
Yeah, and that'd be easy for me to deal with a number along those lines, but when we're talking triple or more than quadruple, the amounts that the averages are out there, then I just get a little bit antsy. Plus, I won't go into the last discussion, but I didn't know I was buying this problem when I bought the house.
I think the real estate agent did his service.
Yeah, I don't know. Mr. Dugan will have to answer that if it comes down to it. But at the end of the day, this is, it is the structure of the house, the engineering of the house, which was there before we got there, that we're dealing with. And people have asked, what about, doing like radiant heat in the house, or not radiant heat, but like forced air in the house. I did price that out, but I'd be adding $40,000 to do that because my house is made out of cement. So literally like the walls and stuff like that, it's not like pulling down a drywall or any of those other pieces. The solution that we've received so far will actually entail them taking all of the down floors that we have within the house, rerouting them to a separate PVC pipe that runs through the house, then has to go down through the floor at some point so it can connect into the lateral and go from there. So their concern is, as you look at those pieces, as a homeowner, I'm now going to have a sewage pipe that's going to be running through a fully furnished basement, and into a bathroom that's going to have to be completely torn up, which is why it's gotten more expensive. And then it's going through a room where, according to the plans, it doesn't have radiant heat. But if I were to take everybody on a field trip today and go over there, you could do the same thing I have and put your hand down on the floor, and there's no way that an unheated room should feel that warm. So I think that there's some residual heat, or they did something in there that's not on the plans. But it all adds up to more and more and more that we're looking at with this. And as I stated before, I believe from the research I was able to do that as a city, we have to approach 70% participation in the sewer lateral program. So I know that there's a little bit of room for exemptions, and I would hope that because of the cost that we would be able to do that. again, or if you would even tell me at the end of this today that if I can find a solution at X number of dollars, I'll pay it. Like, I'm not trying to get out of it, I just don't think that this is one of those situations where it's not an exception to the rules. You know, I mean, if it was $5,000, I'd expect every one of you to look me in the face and go, come on, Rob, you know, what are you talking about? But, I mean, with this amount, it's gonna be exorbitant. I mean, I can either fine until I sell the house and move away and pass it on to the next person, or I can address it, you know, like I'm trying to do today. And that's what I'm
The
trying to do.
problem with that is you wouldn't be able to sell it until you have it satisfied.
Yeah,
Then there's no sense in moving away.
yeah,
That's the way the real estate law is. That's why I said, you didn't do anything. Real estate agent didn't do anything.
what I was told at the time of the sale is that you guys
I would
had
reach
redone
out.
what you'd done and done the laterals up to the wall, and that's all that they thought that it was gonna need. And since those were redone, you know, that part of it was taken care of. It did not say in any of the paperwork, so I went back and pulled my closing paperwork, because it's not that long ago, and there's nothing in there that says that the sewer laterals may need to be done underneath the house. So whether he used the wrong form, I don't know, I can't speak to that. You know, I'm the guy that's inheriting the problem, I'm not the guy that, you know, is trying to get out of it, so that's why I'm here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Under correspondence, I don't have anything. We need a motion to approve the December 9th, 2024 meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. West Hill Regional Police.
Police Department had 337 calls for the month of December, for a grand total of 2024 of 4,858. 55 of those calls last month were in Southmont, and the yearly total for Southmont was 951. 4 citations were issued last month for a yearly total of 196 traffic citations. 6 warnings were given, and a yearly total for warnings was 135. Nothing additional to add as for crime trends and all that. There's vehicle break-ins, but not in Southmont, but they're hitting us where they occur. So just the residents keep aware of that, keep a car doors locked. That's it.
Any questions for the chief? All right. Southmont Volunteer Fire Company, the report is in the packet. I know the representatives are here today. Engineer, there was a report in the packet, but the engineer is not with us today either. Zoning report, that was also included in the packet. There's no reps from the zoning.
I have a question on that zoning report. I see there's been a little bit of movement, thanks to our solicitor, starting to get the ball moving. But, what does this actually mean? It says closed, cannot pursue. Does that mean it's been taken care of?
That, what I interpret that to mean, based on the supplement they provided on December 27th, 2024, it's their opinion that since these properties are not owned by individuals, but they're owned by either LLCs or corporations, that they are not able to pursue, in other words, filing a citation against them at the magistrate because they're not individuals.
What do we have to do to pursue it?
Well, I don't necessarily agree with that conclusion. Under the construction code, a person is defined as an individual, but also a corporation or an LLC. So a person is defined not only as an individual, so you have the ability to cite a corporation. And I've experienced specifically where corporations or LLCs have been cited for specific issues. One I know was a Borough, there was a garbage issue, and that the individual was the owner of the corporation. That was cited. That was accepted as a filing at the magistrate's level. So I'm not 100% sure that they can file a citation naming the owner or an officer of a corporation to make them comply or be in compliance with the zoning requirements of the building code. So So I don't necessarily agree with that conclusion. I'll inquire with their solicitor as to that issue. I won't necessarily contact Ms. Schaefer. I'll talk to their solicitor. Might make I understand what their conclusion was. If there are, the other question then, their position then is if we can't pursue it, then they say it's up to the borough then to file its own action against these individuals. That part would necessitate filing a probably complaint at the Court of Common Pleas as opposed to filing something at the magistrate's office.
Well, some of this stuff is dating back to 2023, and I just wonder how long it's gonna continue. I can't understand why we can't go after the person that's paying taxes for that petition for.
Well, that's, in the ones where it says closed can't pursue, the owners of those properties are LLCs or corporations, so it's not a specific individual that's named as paying the taxes, but there's certainly an officer or an owner of these corporations that would be responsible for those actions of the corporation.
Then what will we do? We can't, we're not allowed to approach them.
Well, we
They're
can.
They're hiding behind the LLC.
Well, then we'd have to file suit against the LLC or the corporation. I mean, corporations are sued all the time, LLCs are sued all the time. It's a matter of then filing that complaint with the Court of Common Pleas and handling it that.
Yeah. Well, I think that might be what we have to do.
It's just a matter of what's the nature of these specific outstanding issues. If it's yard maintenance in terms of weeds, it might have to wait till the spring comes to see that the weeds are of a certain length. At this point, it doesn't do us any good. So it's a matter of what the actual problem is, and if Laurel Inspection is unwilling to move forward on those cases because they're owned by corporations, then it'll be a determination, does the borough on itself then want to enforce the ordinance. Obviously, the borough has the ability to enforce the ordinance. We've contracted with Laurel Inspection to handle these specific issues.
So we're gonna pursue that as time permits, I mean, as weather permits, we should pursue them, correct?
Yeah, we'd have to see if the violations are yard maintenance issues. We'll have to wait till springtime to make that determination if it continues to be a violation based on those issues.
Well, we need to put all those on our tickler list because, you know, we should be able to look at our minutes and say, well, we can ask questions about that when we come to a meeting, but we have a separate report, I know, but still, I've compiled these reports, all reports, and they could have just changed the date and put it in the coffee machine, made coffee, because it has not changed. This is the first change I've seen in that report.
Well, what I'll do is I'll inquire from Laurel Municipal as to these files that they've indicated are closed, cannot pursue. I'll inquire in terms of what actions they've taken, what are the specific violations, and report back. If they are yard maintenance issues, then they probably have to wait till springtime to see.
Okay, good.
Amanda, remind me, are we paying them?
For the initial violation notices, they've been paid, but nothing further.
So, okay, and how many have they taken to court for us so far? Do we know?
Probably a handful, but they've all been taken care of by the time they get there, so they've been withdrawn.
So I guess my question to you is, do you feel that it's worth keeping their services?
I have to think about that. Like I said, the main problems are those LLCs. Everything else is like a property owner. They move forward pretty quickly and efficiently. It's just the LLCs that are going to hold up.
And it takes work off of you.
I think for the few that they've resolved, it's not really worth going through, you're spinning your wheels in the front, and then you end up spinning your wheels in the back end, because you have to go, like the solicitor says, you've got to go out and do it yourself anyway. So I just wonder, it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I think
this segues into the solicitor's report.
So that, I was gonna talk about that, but it's already been covered in the zoning report. The other issue was the Havigan zoning hearing that was conducted on January 7th, 2025. The case initially was decided by the zoning hearing board. They denied the variance request. That was then appealed to the Court of Common Pleas. Judge Canary then issued an order dated November 19th, 2024, remanding it back to the zoning hearing board to take additional evidence on specific issues. One of the issues that at least pertained to the borough was that there's an allegation of selective enforcement as to the zoning ordinance, specifically as to the fence section, as far as the size, the location, and the setback requirements of that. So on the January 7th meeting, Mr. Havigan presented additional evidence on that issue and some other issues. I objected to certain information that was provided. The zoning board was able to hear that information. We also presented testimony from Mark Walker when he was the code enforcement officer as to his enforcement of that specific section of the zoning ordinance, and presented evidence where he did deny permits for fences where the fences were either in the side or front yard, or they violated the setback requirements. Also, Melissa Stiles, on behalf of Laurel Municipal Inspection Agency, was there also. She presented evidence to the point that they've been enforcing the ordinance. And there were a couple of examples where she denied the permits for the same reasons, either it violated the setback or it was in the side or front yard for the particular fence. A lot of the evidence presented by Mr. Havigan were fences that maybe were pre-existing before the zoning ordinance came into play, different setback and different requirements. So we had to work through some of those issues. After the testimony was presented, the testimony was transcribed. It was then filed with the Court of Common Pleas for Judge Canary to review, and then he'll, at this point, issue a decision based on what he has. The zoning board didn't issue a new decision. It was following the specific order of Judge Canary just to take additional evidence and then submit that to the judge for his review.
In your opinion, does the ordinance, is the ordinance pure? I mean, it's clearly written.
Well, it clearly states that a fence has to be with the offset 3 feet from the property line, and that it can only be in the rear yard, and it's defined how that rear yard is defined.
And it's supposed to be in the backyard.
Yeah.
So.
But the issue you have, though, is a lot of the fences are pre-existing fences that are not necessarily compliant with the zoning ones because they predated the new zoning. So they're what they call a non-conforming use. So if you want to replace that non-conforming use, case law says that you have a right to replace it, even though it might be in the, or even if it does violate.
You have to use the new ordinance to replace it?
No, you're what they call grandfathered in. It's a non-conforming use, so you can continue to be in non-conforming with the current zoning laws because the fence is predated.
Do you have an idea when we might get closure on that?
That's up to Judge Canary. I can't control his calendar. Probably at least a 30 to 60 day period of time.
So we're waiting for another 3-4 months.
Well, right now, the decision from the zoning board is the decision. They're appealing that decision, so it's up to the judge to make a determination. Is he going to affirm that decision, saying the zoning board ruled correctly, or is he going to make a different decision? So right now, the decision is that the variance has been denied. Definitely, they filed an appeal of that decision.
But the zoning position is that he's in violation.
Oral inspection made a determination that they were in violation of the zoning ordinance. They filed, there's other parts of it, I'll simplify it. They filed an appeal to the zoning hearing board asking for a variance from the zoning ordinance so they can leave the fence where it was, in violation of the offset, and also that fence is partially in the side yard. So when that variance request was then denied by the zoning hearing board, then they filed an appeal to the Court of Common Pleas.
So we're just in the works.
Yeah, it's
It's in the works.
really the only reason the borough is involved because of the allegation has to be enforcement, the selective enforcement. That's why we intervened in that sense. But the rest of it was up to the zoning board to make their decision. the other issues I have, I think would be more appropriate for executive session.
Okay. All right, street commissioner report was in the packet. Sam's not with us today. Borough manager's report.
I don't have anything additional to add. I just wanted to make note that the LSA grant for the building, the bidding process is moving forward. And then we also have that letter of intent for the city on the agenda for paving Langhorne this year. That's it.
Mayor's report. Discussion items. I don't have anything for administrative or borough services. Richard isn't here, and there were no updates on either of those plans at this time. Emergency management. Finance, Sherry.
Well, we've got 4 grants that you guys are working on, is that right? The LSA, the walk works, the shade lanes, stabilization, and the street sweep or transportation. And then as far as the audit, they'll be starting the audit in the spring, and then we'll be starting right through August and then start pulling it together.
Greater Johnstown Water Authority.
Nothing major except what you probably read in the paper that we assumed the responsibility for replacing the water lines to the house. There's some questions whether who was going to need to do that, either the homeowner or the authority, but the solicitor has said that the law is written such that the water authority has to do that, so there'll be no cost to the homeowner. And the water authority has already taken steps to hire new crews through RDM, the management company, and acquire some new equipment that would facilitate that. It's going to be a 10-year project, which is going to get underway shortly. Which communities will be the first on the list is what's being decided now. It's going to be a random thing. We're also trying to do that in conjunction with the gas company who's ripping up streets and doing lots of renovations at the same time, which would save the water authority some money and the gas company some money at the same time. So wherever that's possible, that's the pursuit.
Do they have most of the permits in place now?
Permits, I don't know about permits, but they are getting some forms together that would allow them, as you did with the sewer before I got on board, where they had to get easements to go on to people's property.
Well, I know Kevin, even when he was on the water authority, that's all he could say. They're waiting for approval from the state.
Well, for
Those are mostly on
the dams, repairs that need to be done, we're still working on some of those, but that's supposed to start this summer too. Sherry, is that what you got too?
In the meantime,
yeah.
all those costs are escalating. What would have cost $1 million last year, would probably $1.5 million now too, because of regular fees to state.
Well, this is about the lead lines, and they all have to be removed within a certain period of time. And the water authority has decided to do it to the foundations. And so they're just now getting into that process.
Yeah, that law went into effect, or even released this past fall, so things are moving quickly as far as lead lines go anyway.
Is the water authority gonna pursue any Penvest funding
Yes.
for the project?
They have already received grants, yeah. And from what I understand, we're mostly talking right now about the downtown, the Johnstown, and then I don't know when they're gonna branch out into like our area.
Yeah, there's lots of consideration being given to what, each neighborhood.
How much the money, how far the money goes. So this is all based upon the grants that they received.
MS4 stormwater.
Nothing new right now. I'm doing the mapping and, Sam had a couple of, Amanda had a couple of minutes on, plans to repair and replace, the cleaning of the inlets and the lines. And the annual reports aren't due until December, so, part of it's ours, part of it's Stifler McGraw's.
I don't have anything on the personnel committee. Police,
No report, chief was here.
property maintenance, streets and sidewalks.
Waiting for some snow to melt so we can go out and check sidewalks. That's about it.
Okay. Shade tree, Richard's not here, but we, are going to, look to apply for a Community Foundation for the Alleghenies grant for a tree study. This grant will be used as a match for a larger grant from the state. To inventory all of the street trees in, the borough and possibly some of the, borough-owned forested properties. Can I get a motion for that?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? The amount of that grant would be $7,500. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. New business, we need to approve a letter of intent to the city of Johnstown for paving Langhorne Avenue in 2025.
A question on that, is that gonna be shared between the city and Southmont?
Yeah, PennDOT will break out what is ours and what is theirs.
Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Hey,
Any opposed? Motion carries. Business items, we need to approve the ratification of payroll, 12/10 through 1/21 of 25.
so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Approve payment of bills, 12/10/24 through 1/21 of 25.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Approve transfers, 12/10/24 through 1/21/25.
So moved.
A second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Approve treasurer's report for December of 2024.
So moved.
A second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Tax collector's report for November 24 and December 24.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. I need a motion to. Yeah.
I'm
You want-
sorry, you went down so fast. Under police, we did get that letter from Westmont Borough, so I was wondering.
That's a formality.
But should Southmont at this point be looking at our agreement also, just to see where if Westmont's looking at theirs, and I just think that it needs to be reviewed because of the timelines we have to give.
Do we have an agreement?
We do.
No, a new agreement.
No, we're in the middle of.
Yeah, but there's nothing in proposed yet for the new agreement, correct? We just have the agreement. that
Right.
we're under.
Right. So that's all I want to say.
review, like, I can review that agreement.
I just didn't, I think it would just be pertinent to pull it out, dust it off, and review it at this point. Just to see what everybody's timelines are and what the increases are and what the percentages are.
Amanda, could we schedule an administrator / borough services committee meeting? I'll invite the entire council.
Thank you.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah. So during public comment, there was a request to table the discussion decision of the request from John G. Klanch until next month. Can I get a motion?
I made
to
that
table that?
motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that will be tabled for next month.
Thank you.
All right, can I get a motion to adjourn into executive session to
Make
discuss
that motion.
legal and personnel matters?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, we are going to adjourn into executive session. There may be action after the meeting.
Okay, Southmont Borough Council meeting done and over with. I'm heading over to the West Hills Regional Police Commission meeting here now. So I'm going to stop this live stream and I'm going to start up another one here in a couple minutes. Okay, so you don't really need to ride over with me, and the orientation's messed up on the live stream list. I don't know if I'm supposed to be this way or not. So. As always, if you like what you see, leave a comment. If you don't like what you see, leave a comment. I'll be back in about 10 minutes. Bye-bye.